We back, but more importantly, Michael Langston. He's the important part. He's the engine that drives this train, everybody. Welcome on into the Warchant.com recruiting chat with the aforementioned Michael Langston. I'm Aslan Hajavandi. Thanks for joining us. Hit the thumbs up button before we begin. I'm sure we probably got some good news Michael's going to bring to the table. And also, don't forget to subscribe. Lower right corner under Michael. Get involved. We would appreciate it. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminoles sports source. Promo code listed below. Michael, how you been, man?
I'm good. It was a rough week last weekend, but to watch that. But I'm good. It's another, or should say, 2 weeks ago. It feels like last weekend because it was so fresh. But certainly, a big opportunity to do some things this weekend and help their cause.
So obviously the dust has had enough time to settle now on that Louisville game. Has there been any kind of long-term ramification? Everybody is so reactive, obviously, when it comes to recruiting and wins and losses. I mean, was there anything you saw on the landscape recruiting-wise for Florida State that took a big hit because of the result of that game?
I don't think so, because I think the kids, the recruits, most of the kids, most of the commits understand that this is going to be a roller coaster. That's what I've kind of called it. They're up and down. There's going to be weeks where they look like the North Carolina game. There's going to be weeks like this, but they have to stay away from these ones where they just get smashed, especially against teams that are 1-4 or average like Louisville. Nothing to take away from Louisville. They played a really good game and they're playing much better football. But those kind of games, it's okay to lose. It's just you got to get away from just getting smashed and everything just completely falling apart. Obviously, we've seen in practice. I think Ira and Corey reported there's some changes there that they're making, on the defensive side of the ball. So we'll see how that works. But I think the main thing is just you can't lose your composure. And I thought in that game there were times where, say like 14-7 in the game, and I thought they panicked and tried to press harder than they needed to instead of just continually doing what they're doing. Jordan threw the ball like 20 times. I don't think you want Jordan Travis throwing the ball 20 times and a half. So I think they got away from what was successful or what their strength is, which is running the football. So they just have to stay true to what they are and what their strengths are, and not try to press and just stay away from these games where you just get completely smashed. But I think recruits in general, they understand that there's going to be ups and downs, so I don't think it really impacted a lot of guys that much.
I always unmute myself. I was eating a protein bar. I was getting too chewy. I didn't want to drown out Michael Langston. Phone lines are open. Sorry, 850-805-5911. With that said, let's take our first caller of the day. It's Virginia Beach, Virginia. It's none other than one Gator Kirk. What's going on, Gator?
Hey, what's up? How you doing, Aslan? How you doing, Michael?
Phenomenal.
Living, brother, living, man. What's going on in the 757?
Good. It's been beautiful here the last few days. 60-some degrees, sunny. Not too bad. Not too bad.
Look at you.
Awesome, man. We got in the 40s here the other night, so it was a little chilly here in Tallahassee.
We got down to like in the 30, not frost yet, but 30. So it was kind of chilly in the morning, but it warmed up. So that's what it is.
But in the true Florida weather, we'll be back to 70 degrees as a low in a couple of days. There you go.
Yeah. All right. So my question is, what two position groups are the highest priority for recruiting and to get through the transfer portal?
Well, I think for the transfer portal, defensive end is my number one thing. You need pass rushing edges. I think that's the most important thing. I think you're going to see them put that as the number one target. I think that'll be the number one push for them. And then as far as other positions, I think in this class they need, whether it's high school, JUCO, or transfer, would be defensive tackle and also offensive tackle continues. I mean, you still want to get more guys. I'm very encouraged by what I'm seeing in the offensive line. I think Alex Atkins is doing a really good job. I think they're developing guys, and they're also getting some of these young kids on the field. And then also at the same time, they're recruiting pretty well as far as guys that fit what they're doing, as far as getting guys like Rado or Kima McAnole, Brian Estes, those kind of guys. I mean, those are the guys you need that fit into what they're doing. So I'm very encouraged that, but you still need, some offensive tackles. I'd like to see additionally, probably the dark horse in that would be receivers. I want to see some, more receivers you would like to add in there. Obviously, you have Joshua Burrell, who's a matchup problem. Kind of look at him like an H-back type guy who you can put wide out, or you can put an H-back. You can line him up a lot of different places. And Malik McLean's kind of, a deep threat that can go across the middle as well. But I think you could add one or two more in this class there. I think that would certainly help. But I think the two biggest needs, in my opinion, is on the defense line and offensive line.
Yeah, I'm impressed with what's happened with the offensive line, with the progress that they've made. So I think hopefully that'll pay some dividends with the kids that are looking at FSU. Well, I appreciate you all always taking my call, everything y'all do for the Nole Nation. Support Zaxby's. Hit that thumbs up button because it does matter. It means less ads and things we watch. And go Noles. Let's beat Pitt. You guys have a great evening. Thank you.
That is right. That is right.
Appreciate it, Kurt.
From the 757. That's Virginia Beach, Virginia, to the layman. Let's keep it rolling. We got another caller in the queue. Let's go ahead and grab him, or her perhaps. Welcome on into the Warchant.com recruiting call-in show with Michael Langston. Who's this? Where are you calling us from?
This is JR from ATL.
Oh, JR from ATL. That's the alphabet soup, man. What's going on, JR? What's good?
How you doing, Michael? How you doing, Aslan?
We're doing fantastic. At least I am. I mean, it looks like Aslan's doing well.
Can't complain.
It looks like he got a little haircut, by the way. Aslan did, but I don't know.
Let's just comb my hair for everybody for once.
Oh, okay.
Trying to look good.
No, we're doing fantastic, man. What's on your mind?
All right, so I've got two quick questions. So with Tinley possibly coming back these last 5 games, hopefully 6, just to put some more film there for him and Hamza as well. Out of the receivers that we have committed and the 2 that we're looking at, I think J.J. Henry from Texas and I think Destin Hill now, not on.
Yeah.
1 out of 10 being like we're going to get them. What do you think are our chances with those 2?
Well, I think early on, even throughout the year, if you'd have told me Destin Hill, I'd have put him up there as a 9.5 or close to a 10. But now, Florida's got very involved. The momentum's there some, so they have to work for that one. So I'd put that one as a 5 or 6. So they're going to have to work for that. Obviously, the production on offense is going to be a big deal. Obviously, they're going to get a chance to do that on the big stage against several teams that are left, like, especially Clemson. It's not so much you win as just you go out there, you show a productive product against a team on a nationally televised thing. So they're just going to have to work for that. Obviously, the relationships are really good with David Johnson to him, but you have to give him something that he can see, hey, I can fit into that. That's explosive offense. We could take this thing to the next level. So I think Florida's making them work. Florida has a little momentum there. I'm not ready to change my forecast yet. I would still say FSU because I haven't heard enough where I can just, for sure it's going to be the Gators. But, they're certainly trending with, some momentum there, and it's a concern. But I think the production on offense is going to be good. And I think J.J. Henry, I think even though he's in Texas, I would put him down as a 5, and that might surprise me was being high because Texas is struggling. I think Oklahoma has their dudes, and then I think it kind of opens up where he really likes this FSU offense. I think he's familiar with Norvell. They've been recruiting him hard. I think he's a guy that they could pull off of. I think obviously getting him on campus would be a big deal just to visit FSU on his own. I've heard JJ is planning and wanting to do that. So I think that's a possibility. I think you also have Keon Coleman. That's another one for Louisiana to watch. FSU's been heavily involved. Basketball player as well, likes to play basketball. We all know FSU's got one of the top programs in the country at basketball. So Keon Coleman's another one to keep in mind, not just those 2. So, but I love J.J. Henry. I love his film. I think he fits perfectly. But those are kind of where they stand with, I guess, those prospects at this point.
Okay, yeah, I know Keon committed to Kansas, which was kind of odd. And
he decommitted. Yeah, I still think that's a guy that could pull off because he's really big in basketball, and we know FSU can sell a lot with basketball. He obviously is from Louisiana, so we know David Coleman's very tied in there, very dialed into people around him. So FSU's a team to watch, I think, with Keon as well. So I think those 3 guys just without, and we put out a receiver hot board, I think earlier this week, so everyone can study that. There's several names in there that you kind of focus on. I even threw some guys in there, even a guy I went to see Friday, Chauncey Hagwood's another one that I like a lot. He's committed to Kentucky, but I think that's a soft verbal. I think FSU can pull him. They picked up the pace a little bit with him, liked what he does. He plays mainly quarterback for his team at Lee County, but he's a guy I like a lot. Very shifty, great route runner, very shifty in open space. And so I guess those are four guys that if I had to lock into, they would be the four guys to really get to know.
All right, JR.
Okay.
Hopefully that helped you, JR.
And my second question, real quick, last
Okay.
one. So my little cousin goes to Collins Hill with our DB commit Travis Hunter for 2022 #1 corner in the nation.
Special.
His
So special.
interview about a few months ago, he said that he was going to be the next Dion. How do y'all feel about that?
Ooh.
I mean, that's high praise, but I'll say I'm not going to say he's going to be the next Dion, but I'll say this kid is, and this is just based on me watching a lot of football, like he is the most dynamic player I've seen in the country. Like Travis Hunter is ridiculously special. He runs, they use him everywhere. He rushes, he's receiving. He usually gets 100 yards almost every game. This kid's lightning fast, and he's a very good shutdown corner. If he's played strictly corner all the time, I don't think we would get to see everything what he brings all the time. But he's not afraid to come up and hit you. He's physical, and he's fast as lightning. He's lightning in the bottle. I mean, he's one of the. If he's not the most dynamic player in the country as far as athletes, you're going to have to show me one that is. I think he's a definite 5-star. Chad Simmons came on our site today and even hinted that it's very likely you're going to see him as a 5-star in the next one, or there's a good chance. So, as far as the next Dion, I don't know about that, but I think he's extremely special. He's definitely, without question, he's a guy that I could see battling for that #1 spot in 2022. That's how much I think of Travis Hunter. I think he's one of the best in the 2022 class. He's very special.
Oh yeah, I got a chance to watch him play the other day when I went to go watch my cousin who played alongside of him when they played North Gwinnett and beat him pretty good. So I know about Travis. So I can't wait till he get there.
Yeah, he's ridiculous, and Marcus Woodson did a phenomenal job with him. He's very close to Marcus. That's a big deal. Obviously, with him, he loves FSU. His mom loves FSU. They love everything going there, and then he also knows that watching them play this year, you can see they need corner help. He could come in there and be an explosive playmaker for them. So yeah, it's a big deal. And he's he's one of the best players in the country. That's the best way I can put it.
Exactly. Well, all right. Appreciate y'all's time. Everybody, eat Zaxby's, subscribe, hit that thumbs up. We need it. And go Noles. Thank you so much. Have a good day, Avalon and Michael.
That's right.
You
JR,
got
I appreciate the call. JR from the ATL. That's Atlanta, Georgia. You all know that. And disregard the first clip you saw. That was some Travis Hunter from Thomasville, North Carolina. So that wasn't the dude. This guy, he's been getting all sorts of buzz after Chad Simmons kind of saw him in action, Michael. So this 2022 prospect, Travis Hunter, he's the goods, huh?
Yeah, he's done this he's solid every game. He's a very explosive area, but he's done this 3 or 4 times this year where, and people that follow my Friday Night Rewind every week, you see, he's had a game where he had 45 yards rushing and a touchdown, 150 plus and a touchdown, and a pick on defense. He just does it all. You can use him everywhere. Special teams. He is the most dynamic player in 2022, in my opinion. He just does things you can't teach, and just very special as a cornerback. And man, it's going to be really special to see him grow when he just focuses on one position. Now, he's a guy I think will play a lot of special teams for FSU, kind of some of the stuff we've seen with Travis J and what he does. But I think you'll see him do a lot of that. So that's a certainly a phenomenal pickup for FSU to have him. I mean, he is tearing the roof off the building. I mean, he is every week. He's making my job hard on Friday Night Rewind because I'm having to put in all these things that he does in the game. But he is an incredible player.
Let's get this party started. Ray Pereira in the house.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Ray, man, it's been too long, good friend.
He's catching a flight and he's throwing 20 down. Like catching a flight and then like here's 20. Man.
Show rolling. Keep show rolling. So keep up the super work, Michael. Ray, we appreciate it as always, man. You're the best, man. You're the best, man.
Appreciate it, Ray.
James is pretty sweet too. He's got. I see your dog looks a lot happier now. She looks a lot more friendly in this one, James. He says the improvement for the offensive line has got to be a positive for maintaining what we have in offensive line recruits right now, and should bode well in the offseason for Adkins to seek out more. What do you think about that, Michael?
I agree with that, and I think a lot of offensive line recruits and even certainly commits they have taken notice of that, of what they're doing. I mean, it's a dramatic change to being the worst offensive line in the world last year compared to the way fans felt about it. But you see, I mean, anybody with eyes can see a solid step forward as far as the offensive line. You're getting open pockets to throw in. You're getting very good running lanes. I mean, let's face it, even with the losses, with FSU being 2-4, they're pretty much being able to run against every team they play. If you watch them when they play, I mean, they're opening up very good running lanes. They're open. They're hitting the second level as far as on their blocks. They're hitting explosive plays on running, and then offense, they're giving them enough time to throw. There's very rarely where you might see them get sacked one time, but most of those sacks, though, are on the quarterback. He holds the ball too long, and it's just plays. You got to get rid of the ball quick, but.
Oh no, we lost Michael. I lost Michael. We'll see what happens. It's not a good call-in show with Michael Langston when you have to deal with this guy instead. But we appreciate him riffing. Ray, I did see your question about whether there's heat coming on Fuller, if it's spooking out the recruits. That I don't know. That's a question for Michael Langston we would have to take. Let me see if he's texting me or anything like that. I don't know. Maybe hopefully it's not my internet, but we'll see how it goes. I'll take some of your team-related questions, everybody. I'm not the recruiting guy. Michael is. I know it's a recruiting show, but we can kind of maybe pivot and see what's going on out there. I know somebody wanted a score prediction from Michael, but you got to deal with what you have sometimes, folks, and that's just, simply me. William McMillan, I think it is. He wants a score prediction for Saturday's game. Yeah, I just got done playing tennis with Corey and Ira. We talked about the game for a little bit. Very tricky game because by all indications, it should be just kind of what the doctor ordered for Florida State. Pitt, their quarterback, most likely, Kenny Pickett's not going to play. His backup has looked pretty bad in a limited action, especially against Notre Dame. Paris Ford, their top defensive back, has opted out. Everything is kind of lining up for Florida State to have a nice kind of return to action and should set up nicely for like a potential win. But then, I don't know, get a little miffed, a little scared about Pat Narduzzi. You give him 2 weeks to figure out a way to slow down Jordan Travis, which is what I was concerned about. Iris was saying, though, that they can have a plan for Jordan, but do they have anybody athletic enough on the defensive side of the ball to slow down Jordan, to keep up with Jordan? We'll find that out on Saturday, but I have to make a score prediction right now. Man, I know Pitt is going to try to make them 34. I'm going to say 34-18. Don't even ask me how they get 34-18, but I'm going to say 34-18. I think Florida State will get back to scoring the way they did against UNC. I know Pitt's got a better defense, but I just think with the rest, Jordan's somewhat healthier, them repping out. They've got a better idea again. I think Florida State of who they are, what they want to be, and who they're going to rotate in and out. The offensive line as well has now had 5 guys, same 5 starting the last few games. So that's an encouraging sort of development for me. James B dropping doll hairs when there's like nobody here to answer his question, but you know what? Your horn game, you get a little bit of that.
Dollar bills, y'all.
And because you threw 5 extra. By the way, everybody, the most difficult thing to do in the world, well, not the most difficult thing to do in the world, like the most difficult thing to do in show business is solo radio, which is what I'm having to do right now, which is not a very fun thing. But you guys are all here. We're struggling together, just like we have been watching Florida State. So we'll soak it in. He was going to ask about Travis Hunter. So just say, keep up the great work. Well, hey, I appreciate that. The Conch Republic, Key West, big fan. Never been before. Went down for my buddy's wedding. Everything worked out. I think, yeah, I feel good. My one buddy already got tested for coronavirus. He's negative, so we feel good about that. Everything was outdoors. Beautiful wedding. There's chickens everywhere running around. I mean, literally chickens, roosters. It's crazy. I didn't see many iguanas, but I'm a fan. 21. I was going to post this question if Michael was around. You ask about Jackson West. Jackson West to me he's going to be one of the fun guys to keep an eye on because, listen, we all kind of know how limited this staff is going to be in terms of who they can recruit, what they can recruit in terms of like elite talent. The guys that they got on early, hopefully, will pan out. It's all about how they can evaluate players and how they end up performing. Robert Scott's a really good example. LaDamian Webb, the way he's been able to play, we'll maybe see Sidney Williams play a little bit more a defensive back. But man, if Jackson West can be as good as he looks on film, it's very exciting. So I do see Michael back in the room here with us. So Michael, I was trying to fake my way through it. 21 asking about Jackson West.
Yes.
Dude, when he committed, I think we did a reaction video, or maybe we brought him up on the show. He looks like a matchup. I don't want to say nightmare, but he just looks like a fun tool to put in this offense. I got high hopes for him, man.
Yeah, he's very good as far as a receiver. We've seen that several times this year. And then it's very good downfield threat with the ball. His hands, way he snatches the ball. I'm very excited about him. I think he brings a lot to that offense. He's a guy I think will play very early because his body's already there. So you have a transformation with nutrition and all that stuff with him. And then he's a guy that can block pretty well on the edges. But I think he's going to bring a lot to the offense. I think he's the guy that nobody talks about in this class, but I think he's one of the best commitments that they have. I am really excited about what he brings to the table with Jackson West.
Yeah, look at that, man. Huntsville High, not really like a known power, but man, that kid makes plays. My buddy actually covers sports in Huntsville, and he's like, that guy's the truth. Ray was asking me what my internet is on a scale of 1 to 5, like a 3, Ray. We're trying to work on that. We're trying to get it better. While you were gone, though, Michael, James B., I dropped the horn already for him. And we do appreciate. He says he changed the photo because his old girl spooked me out, but now we're all good with it. Travis Hunter, he was just going to ask about him, but I mean, you got all your thoughts in on him, right?
Yeah, I shared all my thoughts. I think their school's going to still come after him, but he really loves FSU. I think Marcus Woodson, as long as Marcus Woodson's there, it's going to be hard for anybody to change his mind. Plus, he loves FSU; that's his dream school. So, I think you're all good there. I mean, I haven't heard anything that would be alarming. So. But yeah, dynamically, we talked about him earlier. Travis is one of the best players in the country for 2022, no doubt.
Ray came back with a question, Michael. The recent heat on defensive coordinator Adam Fuller, do you think it's beginning to kind of scare some of the recruits?
I don't get that sense that it is. I mean, certain guys like Brandon Jennings who opted for greener pastures. I don't know how green it is in Michigan since they just lost to Michigan State. So, that was really the only situation where you feel that. The other ones, they understand that, it's a work in progress of what they need. And plus, and I think it pumps up a lot of them just because they know, hey, I can come in there and help and play right away. So I don't think they're into the level of spooking recruits. And, I know Gene and Corey Clark and all them went in debt and said, oh, yeah, blame Fuller and all this stuff. But eventually, you got to blame the players. It's the players that are making plays, and I'm not going to put I've said this on my thoughts after the Louisville game. I'm not going to put this season on Fuller with no spring, no summer, and limited personnel. What you can do. I mean, he's got places where he's trying to fit the right pieces in there, and I think recruits see that and they understand that. They understand it's going to be a process to get that done. Now, if you look like this next year. At the same time, we're still talking about this defense being horrific or terrible or whatever adjective you want to describe them or not good, then yes, that's something they'll probably have to address. But I think you need to give him a full year with spring and summer. I think you let him get some of his recruits in there. Obviously, transfer portal is going to be very big for the defensive side of the ball. And then you go from there. But you have to be fair to the whole subject of no spring. I mean, we've seen across the nation – defenses stink, Aslan, across the nation, just because you don't have that spring and summer to figure out what your plans are, who you go where. And so they're having to figure this on the fly. Yes, he has to he is responsible.
93rd though, Michael. They're 93rd out of 103 teams.
And that's bad. And they're not playing bad. Yeah, and like I said, he does have to accept some responsibility, but I'm not going to put the majority of this on him. I mean, the bottom line, players got to make plays. I mean, and he's responsible for putting him in the right position, and there's things he could probably do better. But at the same time, I don't hear enough about holding, players accountable that you got to make plays. I'm not hating on the players. They have some really good players that can do things. And obviously, if they can get some of these guys back that have been injured, that will help a lot. And that's the other thing nobody talks about is you basically hadn't had your best defensive player all year play all year. And that's Hanson Nazarene. I think he led the team in tackles last year. So it's a lot of things. And yes, Fuller has to accept some blame, but I think it comes to a point where you also have to be realistic and look at the big picture of, one, what he's taken over, and two, players making plays and putting guys in the right position. But I think at worst, I think you have to give the guy at least one more year to at least instill what he's going to do.
And Alfonso, I mean, can't speak to the specifics of what's going on in Ann Arbor, but I guess the broader question is, like, is Brandon Jennings, is he still a possibility for Florida State down the line? And maybe even more so if for some reason Jim Harbaugh isn't able to survive in Ann Arbor?
I mean, it's possible, but, the Louisville game didn't help FSU's cause, so FSU's got more problems to worry about themselves. I mean, yes, Michigan looked like poop last week. They didn't look good. They really don't give the impression of a team that's really ready to take off. But I think they are in the discussion. But I think still FSU has to improve their product before they worry about if they can get somebody else from another school. So I think we need to see improvement. I think if that improvement happens, I think it'll catch his eye. And I think it'll catch a lot of kids' eyes. But the main thing is FSU has to focus on them. And that's the biggest thing is what improvements you can make. I think moving Leonard Warner to the Fox, I think that was something they did today. And so I like that move. I mean, I think it's good. I don't think he's fast enough to play linebacker. But so I think that's a good move. They're switching things around. They're trying to find something to get a comfortable medium to improve the product. And I think if they do that, they're certainly going to be a possibility and certainly could catch Jennings' eyes.
Shout out to Seven Toms, just for whatever reason, just throwing $10 at us just because. We appreciate that, man. Oh, we're having the music. Play the music for him, Aslan.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Yeah, I won't drop the air horn. We don't always do the air horn. I get it. Some people don't like it. We appreciate it, Seven Toms. You're always kind of tuning in and listening. We do appreciate that. Sean Norris has got a question. You got a typo. He meant 2022.
Okay.
But nevertheless, the question does remain. He, though, does get some sauce, a little bit of sauce. 2022, Michael, top 8 class. Could that happen for Florida State?
That could happen. We already seen the product. We talked about things that have to get better. We know the defense, there needs to be improvement in some capacity. But there's good things that this team's already done. We've seen a solid improvement, I think, in offense. Certainly the offensive line has been improvement. The buy-in there has been good. But you see an inconsistent buy-in. You need to see buy-in for every opponent you play. But there's a different buy-in when you compare it to the last 2 years. So there is solid improvement. And recruits notice the stuff to get excited about. But, the next step is consistency. And so I think they're setting it up for 2022. If they can finish this season where, say, they beat every team that's left on their schedule except for Clemson, I think recruits are going to be excited about that. Shows improvement, and you're going to get some kids next year in 2022 that want to be a part of this. I mean, they're going to be excited about. Obviously, you already have some talented players they're coming in 2022. Nigel Kelly from Fort Lauderdale, defensive end, and then Travis Hunter, who we talked about 2022, who won't be a 4-star long, he'll be a 5-star. So I think you're going to grab recruits' attention if you can consistently, for the most part, the rest of the year, show the improved product. I think their biggest selling point, Aslan, is that offense. I think they can really sell that if they're consistent, like we've seen before this Louisville game. I think if they show that every week consistently, that's going to dramatically help their recruiting class. And I think top 10, top 8 is definitely very, very possible.
You ready for this, man?
I'm ready.
Are you sure?
I think I am.
Let's go! Let's go!
How many horns?
on.
Fire up the horn.
Willie Johnson. Who are you?
Bills, y'all. Dollar.
Who are you,
bills,
Willie
y'all.
Johnson? I just got. What are you doing, Willie? What are you doing, man?
We love Willie. Willie, we couldn't read your question. It was kind of incomplete, but send me a question.
Said, Michael, what do? He said, what do? He said, what's up, man?
Okay. Well, I'm doing great. It's not cold anymore, so we're doing great, and really appreciate the contribution. I don't care if you give in $2 or 150. We feel just excited about all of them. I mean, we know you guys don't have to do that, and we really appreciate that, Willie. It means a lot. If you have a question, man, throw it down. But really, I'm honored every time you guys contribute anything. It really makes us feel good, and certainly is a big deal.
Let's go. Come on, Willie. What's going on? Good grief. All right. Man, I'm going to ask questions that are here. Let's see right here. Kamari Odom, Ridge Community School, Terrence Montford asks. You know anything about this guy? I mean,
that would be one that let's do some research. Let's do some research, Aslan.
Live research with Michael Langston.
Let's do it.
Why not, man? It's 2020.
I'll let you handle it. You pull them up and I'll look at them.
Oh, all right. I got to do all the work around here.
Oh, I can do it. I mean,
I'm kidding. Let's see if he's even in the database. Of course not. Why would he be? That would make my job easy. Go to the old search and database. I mean, Willie, what are you doing, man? It's amazing. Appreciate you so much, man. Appreciate you. All right, here we go. You spelled his name wrong, Terrence. Do better. Do better, Terrence. Help me out, man.
Yeah, that helps us out. Just if you could. Yeah, there you go.
Kamari Odom, pro-style quarterback. That's the home of the Williamses, right?
Yes, that's where Carlos and Vince were from. By the way, shout out to Vince. Plays for the undefeated Steelers.
That's right.
Unreal, man. He is far beyond a lot of people's expectation. I think I remember when he came here, people were like, "Why'd they take that kid?" And then had a great career. It certainly helped FSU a lot. And then in the pros, he's just taken off. I'm so happy for that kid. He's such a good dude too. Just a good guy, and certainly going to be a benefit. Yeah, I would say this,
Michael. Let's do it. Let's live scout. Scout. Oh, elusiveness. Ooh, speed. Ooh, okay. Who does Ridge Community School? Do they play good?
They
talent?
play Lakeland. They play Kathleen. So they play some good teams in the Polk County area.
That's
let me just say right now, he's not a quarterback. Okay, so I don't like the way he carries the ball, but
Russell Wilson's only like 5'10" or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, when I watch him, I see an electric playmaker. I see a guy either running back or slot. This kid's got some wheels. He's got some stuff. I'll do some checking on him. I'll see if FSU is in interest. I'm surprised that he doesn't have more attention than what we're seeing, but he definitely is very elusive, very good in short space, and then his speed on the outside is very good. So he's definitely he stands out with when you watch him in the open field. I think running back or slot receiver, this kid's got it. Like he's got some talent. So I'll have to check on him.
That's like my dream right now, Michael, is that somebody drops a name that you've never heard of on this show. But he's 2020, I think, or 2021.
Okay.
And then like we get it to the staff somehow, and then he like scores a game-winning touchdown. And like, our guy.
Yeah, this is one I'll definitely have to check on because I really like what I see in as far as his running ability. Now he's not. I don't see a quarterback when I watch him. But I definitely see a guy that you play at running back or slot. I think he's very electric in those positions. I think he's definitely a guy I have to check on.
Yeah, he got him as a pro-style quarterback, 5'8", 168, class of 2021. So,
1 second, guys. I got to check something real fast. Hang on 1 second. Aslan, just talk away.
There we go, everybody. Welcome back to the What Are We Doing in the World show right now. Sponsored by Willie Johnson and Johnson Enterprises. Whatever, Willie, seriously, man, as long as it's not like a criminal enterprise, I'll plug whatever you've got for us, man.
All right, guys, fire away.
Oh, he's back. Look at that. That was quick.
Yeah.
He got scared there for a second. Like, I didn't know what I was going to do.
No.
Let's see here. People asking about, let's see, Daniel Williams. I would say the answer on the edge coming down the line, J-Rob and Kano haven't been it, but is Chambray really that guy, or is there hope elsewhere?
Well, I think the guy you need to focus on for that edge is Byron Turner. I think one of our Rob's guys, Seminoles, man, I don't want to say his name wrong. If I should say name wrong, I'm sorry, from Rivals. He put up, he had 3 sacks last game. Very good edge rusher. Chambray is going to be, I think, he's going to end up inside. He plays nose guard at his team, so I think Chambray is going to be more of a dynamic player inside for FSU. And I think Byron Turner is for sure a pass rushing, speed edge rusher guy, exactly what they need. I think he's a guy that can come in there his first year early as a freshman, and I think he plays right away. I think this guy gets off the edge really quick. His hand placement's very good. Gets off blocks very fast. Certainly can long reach. That's what I love about him. He's got that long reach you're looking for, and I love this kid's game. I mean, I think it just goes back to the evaluations of FSU with this staff of, you don't always focus on just the star rankings. You look at the talent, and this kid's got it. I mean, long reach, he can block passes, as we can see that play, and then just knows how to get after the quarterback. That's the biggest thing. So Byron Turner, remember that name, guys. That's the guy. As far as you're looking for an edge guy that can come in as a freshman, I think he's the guy.
All right, there we go. Everybody like this guy. Somebody, the Odom kid that we looked at, lots of high marks.
Yes.
Gator Kirk says, dude looks elusive like Jordan Travis. So
yes, he's very elusive, and I like him a lot. Yeah, running back. I think he could definitely play that position, and then slot guy. That's what you want. You want slot guys. You want to see what they do in short space. If they can make people miss, and then the speed they have to pull away from people. He has both of those. So slot or running back, I love that guy.
Yeah, I tell you what.
I will check on. I'm going to check on him for you guys.
Okay, I tell you what. No one's got more pride, I feel like, than Atlanta dudes. Like they're always wanting to pump their dudes up. Here's Andre Elam saying that Norvell and the staff need to keep recruiting Westlake High in Atlanta. 4 top 100 players in the class of 2021 with more in the pipeline. Is that true, Michael?
Yeah, they're pretty loaded. That's a very loaded, high school. They have some very talented players there at Westlake. I haven't heard anybody as far as particularly that FSU's recruiting yet. Doesn't mean they're not there. I mean, they have. I mean, Atkins is very dialed in, and his best area is in Atlanta, Georgia. So he knows that talent. He knows what's good. He's going to find those guys. They've offered so many kids from Atlanta and the Georgia area, so they certainly have their share as far as players there inside that program. But that's a very talented team, and Andre's right. I mean, they do have some very good ones. They have some young ones that FSU's already offered too.
Andre, chill out, man. 2. You got 2 in the top 200. Come on, man.
But they do have talented players. I mean, that's the thing. I think that's the point Andre's trying to make. Yeah, he's a little off on the math, but overall they do have some talented prospects. I think their younger class is very good. I think FSU's already offered a few of those guys, if I'm not mistaken. But it's a place that they're going to hit up hard because, like I said, Atlanta, Georgia's Atkins's like go in. That's his wheelhouse. So he's very good in that general area. So I think he's a guy that I think you'll see a lot more from Westlake just because Atkins is involved and that's his area.
Kevin Hickson asks, are the current recruits tied to Adam Fuller? Just in case maybe he's not here next year. I
don't think so. And just to not play, not to beat a dead horse, but I'd be quite surprised if you don't see Adam Fuller here next year just because, I mean, you're talking about firing a guy in a half a year, and you still need players. Bottom line is you still need better play. But no, I don't think there's too many kids I've seen that are just totally dialed with him. Now there's some he's the main recruiter for, and there's a few in there as far as possibility that could have their recruitments affected if he isn't there. But I don't think there's anybody that's like locked in like what we see with Travis Hunter and Marcus Woodson, where that's the guy. But I think there's some guys that he's recruiting, but again, my opinion, I don't think that's going to be a concern for you, Kevin, this year. I don't think they're going to fire the defensive coordinator after a half a year. So that's just me. But yeah, to answer your question, I don't think there's anybody that's like really close to him.
Terrence Monford's back. Are there any other Central Florida kids we are in on for 2021 and 2022?
Yeah, it's been a busy week for FSU as far as offers. If you go to the Premier Recruiting Board, guys, I put up the skinny on the offers FSU's made. They've been very busy. I think in Lakeland, they were very busy this week. They've offered a few Lakeland kids that are young out there. I'm going to check it right now just so I can go through this stuff so I know what I'm reading. One that really stood out to me in the Orlando area is Jacory Thomas. Now, this is the kid that I went to see. Now, when I did the Chambray Jackson feature, this is the other kid that the coaches kept raving to me about. Like, this is the dude. He's the next dude. He's got offers from Auburn, Miami. Both of his parents graduated from FSU. So he's very high on FSU. Now they just offered this week. I think last night's when they offered. So that's a guy to keep your eye on. He's on 2022 class. He's a safety / linebacker type. So that's what he does. And then the other guys I think you have is Cormani McLean. He's from Lake Gibson. He's a guy they offered. I think he's a 2022, or if I'm not mistaken. He's mainly a wide receiver, even though he does play defensive back. And then I think his teammate, running back Jalen Glover, also 2022, or I believe it's 2022, but he also was offered by FSU. So those are kind of a few areas that guys in the Central Florida area they've offered. Certainly, there's going to be more kids, but Jacory would be the guy if you're locking in on, because I think that guy's going to be a 4-star prospect, really solid. He's 3-star. He's a 3-star right now. He's got some very good offers already. He's a guy to watch for FSU. Chambray's even promised me, Aslan, that kid's coming to FSU if they offer, and they just offered. So, Chambray, you're on the clock. Chambray told me he's definitely following him to FSU. So, Jacory joked to me when I told him that, and he's like, yeah, he's been saying that for a long time. But, yeah, both his parents went there. He's very high. It is a big offer. He's certainly, out of the offers this week, he's the main guy that I focus on as far as the offers. But if you go to Premium Recruiting Board, guys, it's all there. I break down all the offers. I even got to add a few today. I think they offered a few more guys today. So they've been very busy as far as getting these offers out. And what I like, Aslan, when I see some of these offers when FSU's the first offer, that says a lot about your evaluating skills, that you're not waiting on other teams. You know what you want. This is the guy you want. And they jump on them early. And it's benefited them with some recruits already. So go to the Premium Recruiting Board, guys. It's all there. I break it down. But those are the few guys I look at.
7 Toms asked us earlier. I wasn't able to get to it. But Travis Hunter, is he going to get a 5th star, Michael, do you think? I
think he will. I'm not going to put a stone cold lock on it, but I would say very likely I think he gets a 5th star. I think Chad is very good. Chad Simmons, that's who I'm talking about for Rivals. He is, one, he's a really good friend of mine, but 2, Chad is very good at valuations, especially for Georgia prospects in the state of Georgia. I totally agree with him on this one. This kid's been dynamic every week. I think not only is he a 5-star, I think he's a top 5 prospect nationally. I think he just does everything you look for. He's got size, 6'1". He's going to get bigger, fast as lightning, very quick in space as well. This is just a dynamic playmaker all around. I think you got to have him as 5-star. So I think he will get a 5-star, 5th star.
Trying to pull up huddle tape on a kid that someone's telling us that Mike Norvell should recruit, but I don't know. Let's see here.
Coach Norvell just needs to watch our show. You can get a lot of underrated gems in here.
Terondrick Taylor says Marcus Peterson out of Lake City, Florida, should be on the radar.
He's a good one. He's a good one. I've watched him. I went to their game once this year. He's the best receiver on their team. I think he just got I forget who offered. It was somebody in state, but very good long range receiver that can do a lot of different things. Head coach over there is Brian Allen, by the way. People that didn't know. And it didn't show in that last play, but he's good at high pointing the ball if you watch him, and he's one of their best athletes they have on the team. He's very athletic and can certainly the concern just speed wise, how fast is he? That's the only thing. But when you're 6'4", 205, how much speed do you really need, Aslan? So I mean, Warren Thompson's not blazing fast either, but he's got that size and length, and this kid's got those same abilities as far as doing a lot of nice things. And the interest for him is certainly rising. So yeah, that's a guy I could see. I'm with our questionnaire, with our guy that asked the question. I'm with him that that's a guy that I would possibly look at. I mean, he's certainly a guy I would look into. I'm not going to say you should recruit him, but I'm going to say he's certainly a guy that's close enough to home and certainly talented and athletic enough and great length that he's a playmaker.
It's been a minute since Columbia cranked out like a 5-star kind of like. I mean, not that this young man would be there, but it's been a while since they've. I mean, Timmy and then Tunsil, and then it's kind of been a little bit slow. Yeah,
they've had some nice playmakers. It's just not like the 4 stars that we're used to. Like, who's the defensive back? I'm forgetting that played the FSU. Got a lot of targeting calls, but Marshall. Marshall. Yeah, he was there. He was the last big name I can remember FSU really pushing after Trey Marshall. So they have playmakers there every year. I mean, I've watched that program a lot. They're struggling this year team wise. They're not as good as they usually are, but they do have talent. But yeah, you're right. They don't have the 4 and 5 stars that we've seen in the past. I think Brian's doing a phenomenal job there still. And two, the previous staff kind of ignored that school. They never went by there. They never really checked on them. I don't think that's going to be a problem with this staff. With a guy like Marcus, I think FSU's at least when they're able to go out there and when they're able to go out there on the road or talk to kids or whatnot. I think they're going to be able to do some things.
All right. How about this one from Andrew Peacock? Houston County High, Valdosta. Any names we need to know?
It's funny. You're reading that, Aslan. It's actually pronounced Houston County.
Houston? Okay.
Yeah. I didn't know that because last week I went to see Lee County, and Lee County played Houston. Okay. Houston has they have some nice defensive line players, a few linebackers. I have to check on names on that, but they do have some nice young guys that are mainly defensive line, linebacker. Offensively, I didn't see a lot as far as any FSU type of guys. And then Valdosta's obviously got Jadarius Rhyme. He's a very good defensive back. I think he's a guy in 2022 class that FSU is already on. A lot of schools are on. I like him a lot. I also like, the receiver. He transferred from Calhoun County. I forget his name. I'm just drawing a blank. But anyway, FSU's already previously offered him. He's in the 2021 class. I forget his name. I'm sorry. I'll figure it out later, post it on the board. But he's a guy, Taj Copeland, I think. That was his name. But Taj something, I forget his last name. Anyway, I was like him, I can look it up. But he's in the offer list for FSU. But he's a guy that I like a lot. I think he's one of the best receivers on their team. So I think those are a few guys on Valdosta. But I'll see if I can find some names for you on Houston County.
Mike Osteen says, I hope you can come to South Georgia. Look at our talent. We got some great players. Amazing how these kids show up in the SEC, but not FSU. Langston, you've seen this Michael Mincy kid?
Yes. Very good linebacker, 3-star, committed to Vanderbilt. I think he can even do better than that. I think I definitely know that FSU knows about Michael. I don't know if they're calling or pushing yet. Obviously, we've seen them reach out to linebackers as far as offers and stuff. So he might be a guy that they turn that to. I do hear that FSU pushes for him. I think there's a good chance they could flip him away from Vanderbilt. I think he's very high on FSU. He loves FSU. Certainly just going to depend on what Coach Marv thinks of him, what Coach Fuller and Coach Norvell think of him. and that's really going to be turned back. But I can tell you they do know about him. I feel confident about that part, that they at least know about him. Very good instincts inside linebacker, good tackler, kind of does all the things you look for in inside linebacker, reading things and getting off blocks, and certainly plays for a really good team, I think, in Pierce County, if I'm not mistaken. But certainly a guy that I like. I like his film, but it'll be up to FSU how much they push. But, yeah, Mike Osteen's a good dude. He's a good dude. I chat with him often. He tells me a lot about what's going on with their players, and certainly keeps me abreast of everything. And as people can see, this kid fits exactly what you kind of look for in that Mike position. We saw that last year when FSU came in late and got DJ Lundy, and maybe they do that with Michael here.
What about their quarterback, Thomas Castellanos?
I don't know a lot about him, so I'd have to do some study. We can watch film right here.
Scouting with Michael Langston.
Yeah.
Little Kyler Murray. Little Kyler Murray-ish.
Got some looseness. Woo, that windup is really long. But
it worked.
Definitely quickness. I mean, he's definitely elusive. I mean, you definitely see that with his game, and then now we see running him. That kind of makes sense. This looks like a pure dual threat guy. Could play another position. He's one of those guys like the other kid we covered early in the chat that could play another position. Looks like more like another position guy, like a offensive athlete or offensive player more than the quarterback. Although that was a good pass there, that was great ball placement.
He's the best athlete on his team, so he gets stuck playing quarterback pretty much.
Yeah, that happens. I mean, Chauncey Magwood has to do that for Lee County, and Chauncey will be the first to tell you he's not a great thrower, but he's not a quarterback. But sometimes that's what you got to do. You want your playmaker to have the ball in his hands all the time. Certainly, I see this kid. He is very elusive. I mean, he definitely keeps the play alive, and I like how he keeps the play alive and doesn't just look to just take off running. I mean, that's one thing I've noticed in these clips when we're watching them, breaking them down. But when things do break down, I mean, he either takes off or he finds open receivers. So I think his future is as in another position, probably a skill position. But I like what he does as far as keeping plays alive, and certainly has wheels. I mean, shows nice wheels there in the clip. So definitely a guy that I think they could look into for skill position.
Last one as we wind the show down here. We got two people asking about the same thing. Brendan Jackson and William McMillan asking about River Helms. What happened to River Helms? Can we still get River Helms?
Well, I think basically what happened was obviously during the season, that was when the struggles were happening as far as not being as consistent, but also sees Georgia Tech that they throw the ball a lot, and I think that's a big thing too. River's a pure receiving tight end. I think Georgia Tech was always a team that was in his top 2 or top 3. And mentioned around FSU. It's not too far from home, and I think he just fell in love with there, and I think he visited that. That's a place he visited on his own. I think early on FSU had the momentum, but I think as the process went on, he saw what Georgia Tech's offense can look like, even with a young quarterback like Jeff Sims. I think that kind of caught his attention a little bit more than FSU, and that's basically what happened.
Gator Kirk says about Taj Sanders.
Yes, but Taj Sanders is now at Valdosta. He transferred from Colquitt. So yeah, Taj Sanders. I'm sorry, I didn't know his last name off the top of my head, but Taj is very special. I mean, he's the best receiver in my opinion on Valdosta's team. This kid is electric. I know Colquitt was sad to see him go. Obviously followed Rush over there to Valdosta. I love this kid's game. I've loved him since I watched him as a sophomore. I think whoever gets that kid's going to have a steal. I think he's one of the most underrated guys in South Georgia. I think he doesn't get enough credit for what that kid brings to the table as far as a receiver. Great speed, great hands, catches everything. And then when he's in space on them short routes, he turns 10 yards into 60. So I like his game a lot. He's a guy, I would look into. Obviously, Magwood they're looking into. That's a guy that we've heard activity there. I think Taj Sanders will be another guy that if I was FSU, that's one I would check in on.
How is my guy Rush Probst doing?
Up and down.
Really?
Lost his quarterback. For those that don't remember, Jake Garcia went to Grayson. because he was.
Way.
Yes.
He came all the way from the West Coast to go to Valdosta, and they went to Grayson?
Yeah.
What?
Yes. And what was funny about that was he was ineligible at Valdosta, but at Grayson, he's eligible. No problem.
They're both public schools, right?
I think so. I'm pretty sure they're now Grayson is a better fit for him because Grayson is loaded. That team, I mean, it's good. I talk about Lowndes all the time. Lowndes is phenomenal, but Grayson has to be the favorite to win that state title. Grayson's offensive line's loaded. Their defensive line is incredible. They have Phil Maha, who's going to Clemson. He's a Clemson commit. He is incredible running back. So you add Jay Garcia in there with that offensive line, he's going to be able to torture defenses and certainly a good fit. So I'm sure Rush wasn't too happy about that, but I was impressed when I watched Valdosta when they played Lowndes. I think they're coming along. I think it's going to be a good team. And they play for the region championship next week, or this upcoming weekend. They play Lee County, so that's going to be a big game. So they could possibly grab your region championship, whoever wins that game. So I think they're having a good year, but I think there's still work to do.
I lied. Last one. And to win. Look at this, man. What's going on?
Dollar bills, y'all.
Let's go, man. And to win, too. He's usually lurking. He's usually making moves behind the scenes. Do you think Michael Langston will get players that aren't performing or engaged to enter the transfer portal?
I think we've already seen that. I think we've already seen that. Aslan, we saw that with DJ Matthews. Nothing against DJ. I know DJ Rowe, but if you don't buy it in, you're gone. I think other guys, sometimes just it ain't going to work out. Like Mike Arnold, it's just not going to work out. So there's several guys that we're already seeing that with. Yes, I think he'll encourage them if it's the best fit for them. And the reason he does that is, one, he's helping both parties. Like, look, if you're going to play here, I don't want to waste your time. And two, we want guys that are engaged. I mean, the easiest way you see guys that are just forced out or quickly is the guys that aren't buying in. And when you don't buy in, I don't think Norvell is going to allow that to happen with this team. I mean, the culture he's building is the buy-in. We're doing things hard way. Look, you either want to buy in or you don't. If you don't, that's fine. If you want to transfer, I think he would encourage it, and that's fine. So I do think you'll see more turnover with this roster. I think it's going to happen. I mean, I think it's inevitable that you're going to see changes, and you're going to see new players, and you're going to see players that leave. But you're also going to see guys that are coming in. I think he's creating a culture of accountability to everything they do. And that includes the coaches. Like, if the coaches aren't performing, they're going to be accountable. And if the players aren't performing, it's going to be accountable. It's like everyone. He wants to create a standard of culture of you're accountable for everything you do, and every performance you do. And so he's attracting. He's really focused on just playing consistent every week. And you can see that when the way he talks before and after the games. It's like you can see his focus. Like, I want consistency, and we're not going to be happy until we get that. And so I don't think he's going to be happy with this roster until he gets it the way he wants. And even when he gets the roster the way he wants, I think you're going to have to perform at a high level if you want to play for this coach. He's going to hold people accountable. So, yes, I do think there will be guys. I'm not saying you make room, but I think he would encourage guys to, if it's not working out, to move on.
All right, man. Thanks so much to everybody for watching. If you get that thumbs up button, we really would appreciate it. Shout out to In the Wind, Willie Johnson, Big Willie Styles, Sean Norris, Seven Toms, James B., and Ray Pereira. What's going on over on the PRB for the rest of the week, you think, Michael?
Yeah, we got tons of we got stuff we're plenty of stuff we're working on. Obviously, I'm still got to update the offers. Probably going to start working on a new prospects to watch, maybe a dozen to watch or so. Just guys that focus on, or I might focus on just a position like I did the other day with the wide receiver. So that's something you'll be working on. To also catch up with some recruits after the Pittsburgh game. Hopefully, it's in a positive way, and FSU comes out there and plays well, and we'll see what the recruits think from there. But those are kind of some of the things that certainly we're working on.
All right. For Michael, I'm Aslan. Thanks so much for watching. Again, if you could hit the thumbs up button on your way out, we really would appreciate it. Stay connected to warchant.com, your ultimate Seminoles sports source. Coverage all the time, recruiting-wise, from Michael Langston over on the PRB Premium Recruiting Board. Use the promo code WARCHANT30 for 30 free days of access. Michael, as always, man, I appreciate the time and the knowledge.
And you tell Corey Clark he needs to give me all the tidbits when he's dropping recruits that are going to end up at FSU. I mean, Corey Clark's lowing down this thing, and everyone's asking me questions like, I didn't watch that. So you have to tell Corey. You have to tell Corey to give me a call, share my number, and let me know so I can check on these guys for him.
There we go. Will do. He's Michael. I'm Aslan. Thanks for watching, everybody.